Good afternoon or morning, YouTube, and welcome to your fantasy forecast for Saturday, February 27th. The main slate today has 7 games. It's a good number to find value but not get killed on by extraordinary performances from guys that you don't have. It's going to be an interesting lineup today, guys. Briefly, yesterday's results video will be posted after this one. It'll be short, and in a nutshell, my lineup didn't win, one other provider lineup didn't win, and 3 of the other optimal lineups would have won cash games if you played them, but not GDPs. I just wanted to get that brief info out now, and you can watch the video later. And you guys need to get this out now for your picks. Okay, so at point guard today, I have Westbrook and Mack. Russell is playing in a game with an over-under of 235. Does that say anything for fantasy point scoring, guys? It's a day where my cash lineup is almost just going to look like a GPP because of the high floors the high dollar guys are going to give us today in a game like that. This game should be close, and if you're going to want to have guys from this game on your roster, like no matter what, a Curry, a Westbrook, a Durant, somehow, some way, you got to get some of it in there. All of it, if it sounds crazy, but you're just going to have to pick and choose the right way. So this game should be close. And besides that, we're going to round out with Mack. We're going to need to save some money, obviously, to make this roster work. And Mack at near minimum is where we start. Since joining Utah, he's become a starter. And as long as the game isn't a blowout, it's possible against the Nets, he'll see 32 minutes or so, and he'll totally exceed value tonight. All right, on to shot guard, we have Moore and Green. This is an interesting position tonight. The top guy, Harden, has a matchup against San Antonio today, and he's the one big guy I'd like to fade if they're going to play San Antonio. Dropping down on position, you have Klay Thompson, but he loses minutes in Golden State blowouts, even though we kind of do want exposure to the game, so there's some risk there, even if Oklahoma City does keep it close. If you have the money somehow, I'd play him, but you'll see other choices like I did here. Farther down, you have Levine, too. But the coach there is just bipolar, and you can never tell if he'll start or play from the bench with Levine, so you're just taking a crapshoot every time. Until that's settled down, I'm just avoiding the whole situation. And that takes us to Moore and Green. Both are cheaper guys, which will enable us to save the money for the big men, and Moore has been seeing a lot of action lately with Butler out. I wouldn't expect him to play 30 tonight, but he should be in the court in the high 20s, and is likely to exceed 5 times value against Portland. He only needs 23 fantasy points to do that, guys. Rounding out the slot with Danny Green, while he put up a bit of a stinker in his last game, the guy is still locked into about 30 minutes a night, and he's likely again to exceed 5 times value for us, which we're going to need for cash, and that's only 22 points in this case. All right, small forward, this is where we're going to start using our savings. The last time Durant played Golden State, he gave us 65 fantasy points, and he was the best of the Curry, Westbrook, Durant group out of them all. So this is the game we want him in. Super high scoring, no defense, history on our side. If I could find a way to fit Curry in too, I would, but Curry always has the Klay Thompson option if they come at him hard, and they probably are going to. So, anyways, I'm going to round this out with Bogdanovic. Who, guys? The guy is just $100 above minimum, and the Nets have decided this guy is the starter now instead of Joe Johnson. So just take this $3,600 value for 20-plus fantasy points all day long. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, at power forward, the rest of the money we're saving is going to go to Davis tonight. And I've been waiting for a good day to recommend the Brow after his insane 89-point fantasy performance, because those just don't happen twice in a row, and you guys have seen that. The Wolves are that opponent tonight, and I love parking the salary here for the 5 times value because I'm projecting him at 51, and he's got upside just like all these big guys do. We're rounding out Davis with cheap man Cunningham, who really shouldn't be 100 above minimum either when he's been on the court for more than half the game. His price is depressed because he just doesn't really stuff his stat line even with those minutes. He's a facilitator. But on a night like tonight, I'll take a guy that paid almost 7 times value against Oklahoma on a day of rest playing Minnesota tonight. That's pretty good. 2 nights ago, he rolls up 7 times, and, tonight he's got a day of rest, and he's got a good opponent there. So if he gives me just 14 fantasy points for 4 times value, I'll call it a day and be happy, and because everything else is going to work just fine in the lineup, and I'm expecting a bit more anyways. All right, so at center, Drummond is the choice today. And you have a few choices here, but since this is meant to be a cash lineup, despite it kind of looking a bit like a GPP or a tournament lineup, you won't find a guy with a better floor at center. I mean, we could get lucky and get 50 fantasy points out of him tonight, but you'll see that he's nice, snappy, and steady when he ends up at 38 or 46 or something like that. Okay, on to the other ideal lineups. For Roto Grinders, oh sorry, those are yesterday's. I'll go through that in a minute. Roto Grinders is running Holiday, Conley for point guard, Mayo and Moore for shot guard, Durant and Barnes for small forward, power forward Anthony Davis and Dieng, and center Bogut. Okay, on to Roto Wire. Roto Wire is running Westbrook and Michael Carter-Williams at point guard, Klay Thompson and Danny Green at shot guard, Harris and Morris at small forward, Davis and Dieng at power forward, and Wright as the center. Moving back out of here onto our next one. And this one comes to us from Fantasy Pros. We have Presley and Mack at point guard, Thompson and Harden at shot guard, Leonard and Harkless at small forward, Davis and Cunningham at power forward, and Drummond at the center. And for Daily Fantasy Cafe, we have Westbrook and Mack at the point guard position, Thompson and Levine at shot guard, Harris and Barnes at small forward, Green and Dieng at power forward, and Drummond for the center. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please follow me on Twitter for the latest injuries, updates, and lineup changes at MikeMiller78. Again, the results video from yesterday will be out soon, and I will be starting a contest soon now that we have 50 subscribers. I've just got to figure out what it will be. Details on the giveaway will be announced soon, maybe in the results video, but probably tomorrow. I love all you guys. Have a great weekend. Go and win some money.